Alright guys, so we got some hot looking new cards coming out in a TrapTrix structure deck. So brand new, obviously TrapTrix coming out in the game. Plus, Sky Strikers, the waifu archetype, they're getting some new support as well. So let's go ahead and kick it right off with of course, the TrapTrix. So let's get started. If you're excited about new Yu-Gi-Oh cards in, Winter Lingerie, drop a like for this video, but let's get started. So starting right off, we got the new TrapTrix Pingulika. So this is a brand new Earth rank 4 Planet Exceeds effect monster. And it's 2500 attack, 300 defense points, and it's 2 level 4 monsters, so it is a generic card. It says you can only use the second and the third effect of this card's name each once per turn. The first part of the effect is when this card with material is unaffected by trap effects and by activate effects from any other monster with the same type as of those materials. Okay, so maybe with like, was it DNA transplant or surgery, you could do some pretty weird stuff with it. Being unaffected by trap cards, I guess they can't imperm you, but for the most part, I'd say trap effects are pretty much irrelevant in most day and age, right, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Other than like imperm, but that's not like a real trap card, right? Second part is you can detach one material from this card to add one TrapTrix monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, that's pretty solid. The third effect is if a monster or monsters that is owned by your opponent is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can attach one of them to this card as material. Now, what is interesting is if it's getting banished, right, via some sort of an effect, your opponent would then be able to resend it back to the graveyard. So this is like a double-edged sword. It could be better or maybe even a worse effect because that just resets the card effect. It's just banished by any card effect. So that means if your opponent activates a card effect to banish itself or something from the graveyard, because there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards with that, you can attach one of those cards as material. Therefore, when you detach or this card goes away, your opponent gets a bonus effect because it's back now in the graveyard. So this is a very interesting effect. I mean, still, obviously, depending on the matchup, that does matter. All right, next up, though, we have the TrapTrix Arachnocampa. Okay, so it's got something maybe with spiders. I think that's the goal. Oh, I see the little, like, spider webs, like, coming down. Okay, so level 4 Earth Insect. Okay, so wait, most of them were plants, right? Okay, this one's an insect. Okay. Insect effect monster, 1300 attack, 1500 defense points. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. The first part is, during the main phase, if you control a TrapTrix monster as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you can have special summon monster from the extract for the rest of this turn, except for insect and plant. Okay, so it counts both. The second part of the effect is it's unaffected by the effect of whole normal traps, which is kind of normal for the archetype. The third effect is the first time each set card in your spawn traps would be destroyed by a card effect, each turn it is not destroyed. Now, I'm really hoping that, like, this effect, like, because it's an okay effect, it being destroyed, it would prevent it from being sent to the graveyard, because some things don't destroy, they just send to the graveyard or just banish it, right? But on top of that, if it worked as, like, a Exceeds monster attached with this card as material gains this effect, that would be a lot better, I feel like, because then you just have to leave this card lingering on the board, and it's 1500, they just get rid of it, then pop the back row, but obviously, when they summon, you activate your stuff. I guess that's kind of the goal of the deck. Maybe if it had a little bit more defense, nonetheless, that's that card. Next up, we got Delusion Trap Hole. Okay, so more trap hole cards coming out into the game. So we got a normal trap card that's called Delusion Trap Hole. It says you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. The first part is if when your opponent special summons a monster this turn, target one monster they control with 2000 or more attack. Destroy it. Then, if you have a whole normal trap in your graveyard, you could banish one monster from your opponent's graveyard. So that could be like an okay, considering I think you'd have to have it on activation, not resolution of this effect. Yeah, I mean, being able to banish. The problem is it does not negate and destroy. If it said like you could like negate the special summon monster, it's just this turn. I don't know, I just don't feel like it's going to be like meta and fast enough. Next up though, let's see, maybe the support will be a little bit faster. We have TrapTrix Adipus. So this is the artwork on this card. It's a Link 3 1800 attack, and it's going to be a Earth Insect 1800 attack with the link zones pointing in the middle left, middle right, and the bottom center. It's been chosen 2 monsters, including a plant or insect monster. So the first part is this link summon card is unaffected by trap effects. The second part is TrapTrix monster you control gain 1000 attack while you have a normal trap in your graveyard. Okay, this is actually pretty decent considering this card comes out at 2800, and on top of that, if it gained 1000 for each one, that would be actually quite viable. The third effect though is once per turn you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of insect and plant monsters you control and negate their effects until the end of this turn. Then you can banish one normal trap from your graveyard if you do destroy one of the targeted cards. Now, unfortunately, this card effect is not a quick effect. Why is it not a quick effect? So you have to summon this, then negate their effects when they could just negate and destroy this card, right? I think that's a very strange way to add, like, this is supposed to be their boss monster. That's the last announcement, and then we just get announcement of reprints. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real. I just don't think this is enough to make it to become like an S tier meta deck. Obviously, their Dark World stuff is coming out later this year, and that is gonna be very, very powerful. If you want like a good structure deck, you know, most bang for your buck. I just don't see, at least as of right now, is this all we're getting? Maybe if we get some more announcements, I'll let you guys know, but we still got more cards to cover. Like I said, oh, there's branded support too? Okay, so this is in Photon Hypernova, this is not in the structure deck, okay? So branded light is quick play spell card that says, well, first off, it's a quick play, and there's the artwork. It says you can only activate one card of this card's name. Return target one fusion monster on the field or in the graveyard. Return it to the extra deck. Then you can special summon one Fallen of Albus from your graveyard and one monster from your opponent's graveyard to their owner's fields. Okay, that's a very, very interesting one because it bounces it back, and then you could just special summon like one of yours. That's actually a pretty decent effect considering it's a quick play. That makes it so much more powerful. So solid branded card indeed. Next up, though, we have the branded inevitability or the branded lead. Might change the name to TCG, but that's like the translation. So we have a new continuous card for them. It's a continuous trap card that says once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets one bestial monster you control and no other cards, or if they activate the card or effect in response to the activation of your bestial monster's effect, you can target one light or dark monster in the graveyard, banish it, and if you do, negate that activated effect. Now, it doesn't destroy, and it is a once per turn, but still, like, maybe just continuously being able to stop stuff. I think nowadays in Yu-Gi-Oh, things that, like, linger up on the board, it is kind of conditional. I mean, at the end of the day, why not just solemn negate the card already, right? I think that might just be a better option if you are interested in playing traps, because you have to have one that targets specifically. It has to target, and it has to be a bestial, and on top of that, you have to target a light or dark in the graveyard, which can, I guess, be another bonus if it's theirs, right? I think it just says the graveyard, not yours. So it could be interesting, but I still think that it might be a little bit mediocre considering it has to activate and target. It's just like, it's like a lot of conditional stuff, right? Next up, oh, what is this? The Hammer, a brand new boss dragon. Okay, so Lindworm, the Hammer Dragon here is the artwork on it, new fusion. It almost looks like, you know what that looks like? I don't know if any of you guys watch the anime Zoids, but this straight up looks like a Zoid. I don't remember all their names at the top of my head. Heck, half the time I was watching it in Japanese, but comment down below if you guys know what anime I'm talking about. Zoids is like legit though. That was a really cool anime. Anyways, Lindworm the Hammer Dragon is a level 8 Dark Wing Beast fusion effect monster, 2,500 attack, 2,000 defense points. It requires a Fallen of Albus, plus one beast, beast warrior, or wing beast monster. It says you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. The first part is when a fusion, synchro, exceeds, or link monster activates its effect, you can negate the activation, then you can return one monster on the field to the owner's hand. The second part is during your opponent's turn when this card is in your graveyard as a quick effect, you can banish it says you can target one Fallen of Albus in your graveyard between that target and this card, special summon one and banish the other. Okay, very interesting effect as well. And next up we have the Sky Striker support. So Sky Striker's Ace Engage Fight. So Sky Striker Ace Suzuku. Oh, this is just alternate artwork. Okay, so that's alternate artwork. Here's the new cards. So Red Arrow. Okay, so it's a normal spell card that says you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. The first part is to target up to 2 face-up monsters in the extra monster zone and banish them until the end phase. Here is the artwork on this. It isn't up to. If this card effect was a quick play, man, I would say this card is excellent. But being able to like maybe move your card out of the way. Now, as far as I'm aware of, you could still place the monster back until the non-extra zone, or like how does that actually work? If someone knows a ruling on that, does that mean with like Sky Strikers, you move that monster out of the way, then you remake the card, then during the end phase, what happens to your monster? Does it have to be placed in the same exact zone? Or if like you overwrite the zone, can you now put the monster in like a normal monster zone? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Again, if it was quick play, I could see this actually being pretty solid just because it's like a, what is it, interdimensional transport, or like kind of like a compulse, or just moving the card sometimes is like good enough until the end. I think it's a pretty decent effect. Again, if it was quick play, I think it's solid. All right, what else do we got? Oh, reprints. So Ray, Rose, Hamp, Kagari, Shizuku, Hayate, Kain, Zeke, Engage, Afterburner, Shamming Waves, Hornet, Water Anchor, Eagle Boost, Shark Cannon, Hercules, Base, Multi-Roll, Area Zero, Vector, Blast, Scissors Cross, and Linkage. Those are all getting reprints. Now, with the announcement of this in the SFL selection, what is that? The selection force? I forgot the exact set is because this is a completely different set. I think this probably means we're going to get more Sky Striker support later down the line. Maybe we'll get some more artworks, maybe a few new Sky Striker cards. But when those do come out and they are available, I'll give you guys the effects. So if you're brand new here and you don't want to miss out on those, plus maybe other TrapTrix cards, because I feel like they're a little bit underwhelming right now from this. But it's a very hot structure deck. Look at that. This thing is dripping on the top. What is that? All right. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Let me know your thoughts. I'm out. Peace.